swinging a high drive into center field. Hits at the wall. It is gone. Casas does it again. It's gone. It's into the bullpen. This game is tied.
He swings and rips one to center field. It's high. It's deep. It's back. It's gone. Sale winds. He fires. Swing and a miss. Strike three. It's over. The Red Sox have won the World Championship.
What's up? Welcome back to Play Tessie. It's episode 181. It's the official Red Sox podcast of WEEI. Before we get going, hit that subscribe button wherever you're getting your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Odyssey app. Subscribe everywhere. Rate us 5 stars. Leave a comment. All of that helps us out so much. Find us on the YouTube page at the WEEI channel. We got the Play Tessie playlist there. You can see our faces. I got a new 4K camera here, and it's zoomed out. So now I look like I'm further away than Sammy. Flash, Pat's sick, so Pat's not here. So it's just Gordo and Sammy here for you guys. But remember to subscribe to WEEI. Hit the thumbs up on all those videos and find us on the socials at Play Tessie on both Twitter and Instagram. So we're on the brink of getting bored with spring training, as in the videos of the playing catch and the live BPs and seeing the results of that. Right at the brink of that stuff all got old. And then the game started, and that's great. We were on the brink of going insane. That Adam Ottavino Twitter account came to be, and that was peak stupidity on Red Sox Twitter. Not that he didn't do a good job faking being Adam Ottavino, but saying that he was nervous about and super can't sleep the night before the Northeastern game that Adam Ottavino obviously was not going to pitch in, and even if he was, he wouldn't be nervous about it. But other than that, good job, man. You had me thinking for a little bit until the real Adam Ottavino posted on Instagram that he was not on Twitter. But yeah, the games are here. Bregman raked, Crochet shoved. It was great. I love it. I'm just happy it's back. I'm just happy that we can, even though spring training games, take it for what it's worth, but you can turn on your TV once a day and there's probably going to be Red Sox baseball on that day. And I like it.
Yeah, I can't complain about that. More baseball is always good. I personally get tired of the spring training games pretty quickly, but with us scheduled to go down there in person, I am excited to do that. So I'm not as much of let's get to the regular season as I normally am. But that said, it's such a tease. Bregman hitting a bomb. Love to see it. But oh my God, I need the real thing. Garrett Crochet. I can't believe it's real. Saw him pitching for the Red Sox. It's crazy. I'm so excited. It feels good to be excited about the Red Sox. And yeah, man, all positive things. By the way, if I sound low energy today, I just got back from my friend's bachelor weekend in Maine. So I'm fighting it a little bit. We had a lot of fun, but I'm here, ready to talk Sox.
He's ready to talk spring training Boston Red Sox. That is what Play Tessie is. That's what we do. That's what we do.
Didn't miss it for the world. I was like, boys, I got to get home. I got to record this podcast about Bregman's home run heard round the world.
No, what you were like was Sedon drew a walk, and I need to be there to freaking talk about it.
I love Sedon. I want him to succeed so badly. And when I saw his hands lower and him working a count, oh man, that's my guy. I don't even care about the home run. Who cares about that? He worked a walk and he lowered his hand. That's the spring training stuff we live for. That's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about what to read into with spring training, and this is, I feel like, is a discussion that we have at the beginning of spring training, and then maybe a week or two into the season, when once again spring training stats have proven to not matter. The stats, screw the stats. They don't matter. As much as I want to read into Alex Bregman going 3 for 3 with a bomb and another ball that would have been a bomb at the real Fenway Park, he would have had 2 bombs. As much as I want to read into that and say Bregman is about to piece 30 this year and hit 320 and win the MVP and all that, that stuff doesn't matter that much. But the stuff that you just pointed out, Sammy, guys coming in looking bigger and stronger, Sedon put on weight. Vaughn Grissom is another one, put on weight. A lot of these guys, honestly, coming in looking good. Quinn Priester put on a lot of weight. Looked okay. But again, you never know when like the reason you can't read into stats is really just you never know when guys are tinkering. Sometimes starting pitchers go into the game and they only throw fastballs. So like take the stats for what it's worth. But when guys have different approaches, different batting stances, different mechanics, just changing anything like pitchers, if they add a new pitch, stuff like that, that's the stuff that you look for in spring training.
Yeah, I think the only time you pay attention to the stats in spring training is if it's a extreme outlier and a big departure from what you're used to. Like if Devers comes to spring training, he starts playing and he's hitting like 091 with no home runs and a million strikeouts, you might be like, okay, he doesn't look right. That's probably a red flag, but it's few and far between. And on the flip side, I hate to point this guy out because I know I've done it on playtesting before, but Steve Selski, 2017, like a non-roster guy, I believe, and he just went off, and people were like, maybe they got something, and he did nothing.
Well, the example that people will definitely remember was Jackie Bradley Jr.'s insane spring training and how he made the team. What was that? Was that 2013? Do I have that right? I think it was 13.
He went nuts in spring training. I can't remember which. I think he did it a few times, but there was one. I know what you're talking about, where he really, really went off in spring training, and people were like, "This guy, yeah."
It was before his debut. So like whatever his rookie season was, whatever his first 13. Pro season. Yeah, it was 13, and he crushed it. And then he ended up hitting 189 with a 617 OPS that year, 68 OPS plus. Just wasn't ready. But if you just looked at spring training, this guy's gone.
You'd be like, oh my God. Yeah. And you said it earlier. It's pitchers working on fastballs, hitters tweaking things. It's a warm up. They're not really trying to win, if that makes sense. They're not playing to win the game. They're playing to get ready to play real games. So doesn't really mean much to me, the number. It's fun to watch. We'll still watch the games and everything. The one thing, and you just mentioned this, Gordo, Quinn Priester, when we saw that guy at Fenway last year, when he got his cup of coffee with the Red Sox, we both looked at each other and were like, that guy is yoked. And he put on more muscle. So he's going to be throwing 200 miles an hour. First guy ever.
And that was their thing with him, is like, let's get this guy's velocity up. And he, even at the end of last season, like from the trade deadline till the end, velocity up like multiple ticks. So we weren't able to see the velocity. Like there's no stat cast at JetBlue, and they don't have the velocity on Nesson. So I don't know.
That's criminal.
Yeah, it is.
That's awful. That's one thing we do care about in spring training, is we want to see velocity, little things like that. Come on, Nesson.
That's what they don't want us to see, because sometimes guys start off like low velo in early spring and then gear it up at the end. So I feel like the team probably just doesn't want fans to freak out. But at the same time, it's like when you've got a guy like Quinn Priester and all you're hearing is that he's been doing all these things in the offseason to try to improve his velocity. Like, you want to see it. You want to see it.
Dude, I mean, this fan base has freaked out so much. If you're freaking out about velocity in spring training, come on, man. Like we freaked out about much worse. So I hope they add that. I think they normally do have velocity in spring training. So I don't know why they don't have it yet. Maybe it's just too early.
They might do it later. Like that might be a thing. It might be like we'll start showing it in the last like week or two of spring training.
Spring training conspiracy theories.
They've got it at the ballpark. Like they showed the thing. They showed that Richard Fitz hit 97 at some point today. And like, I know maintaining velocity through a start and through a season is a thing for him. Like he can gear it up there now when he's throwing in 2-inning bursts, but can he maintain it? They showed the 97 at the ballpark. I wish they'd put it on the TV. And like for a guy like Luis Guerrero, who I'm pretty sure it was reported was sitting 97, 98, and struck out the side. Like,
see, that means something. He's sitting 97, 98. That's good. He's throwing hard. That's part of his game. Yeah, looks good. Guerrero's a guy, if you're looking for someone to buy stock in, as you could say, he's a guy who I think is going to play a big role out of the bullpen this year.
And even if for some, I don't even want to say for some reason, because in my initial thoughts on an opening day bullpen, and these are ever changing, like we're going to talk about the pitching depth taking a hit a little bit later in the show, but in my initial projection, which included Cutter Crawford, I didn't have him on the opening day roster. And that I still think that he plays, even if he doesn't make the opening day roster, a huge role out of the bullpen this year. And by the end of the year, whether he's on the opening day roster or not, I think he's going to be a mainstay in like the 7th or 8th inning for the Red Sox. So it was great to see him look good. The only other really, I mean, they all pitched well. Everyone that you would want, like it was like the I forget his name, someone I'd never heard of, like threw up all over himself in the 9th inning. But like Austin Adams was the other one that kind of stood out. He's like the slider merchant, the sweeper merchant, and he struck out the side too. Had a sub-4 ERA for the A's last year, and in 56 games, and yet signed a minor league deal with the Sox like pretty early in the off, like way too early in my opinion for a guy with a sub-4 to be taking a minor league deal. So maybe there was something that the Sox sold him on. I don't know, but he's a different kind of cat out of the bullpen. Like the Sox are going to want to be cranking up the velo a little bit more this year. Like you're going to be seeing it with Chapman, seeing it with Guerrero. Zach Fogel was the guy who blew it. Thank you, Joe. Yeah, that was brutal. But yeah, a different kind of guy out of the bullpen. He's kind of one of those sidearm guys. So like you look at like a Greg Weissert arm angle. There's a couple others. Wyatt Mills is another one. I'm forgetting.
Mills looks like Schreiber. Remember that they look exactly like. It's bizarre the way they throw, not their faces, but the
Ottavino's the last one. Ottavino's the last one. It feels like they're going to want one or two of those sidearm guys. Maybe just one. I don't know. Like, would I love you want that. Two?
Yeah, why not? Can't hurt. They don't have to pitch at the same time, like just and then I like how you have Hendricks directly over the top. A lot of different looks out of this bullpen. That was the theory I was talking about last episode with Chapman and Wilson. They're both left-handed relievers, but they go about their business in entirely different ways. And real quick before we move on, Luis Guerrero, I don't think we've ever mentioned this on the show. He has an interesting story. So when he was growing up, he had an infection and was in I believe his right knee. Yeah, his right knee, he had an infection and was improperly treated by the doctor. And it kind of, for the rest of his life, it screwed up the mobility in his right knee. So if you see him walking with a limp, he lives with a disability and he still pitches with it. And I think that's so cool that he pitches through that. And like, obviously not a great hand to be dealt at a young age, but kind of a cool story how he's overcome that. And you can still see the remains of it, but he pitches through it. And, you can kind of see he keeps his right leg a little more straight when he delivers. So just an interesting tidbit to this guy's story, who I think we both just said we think will play a big role with the 2025 team.
Fascinating guy, because like, you wouldn't expect a guy with a disability in his knee to be a professional athlete, but like also to be not just a pitcher, but a guy who throws gas. Like, you would think that a guy who has a disability that pushes through it to make the majors would be like a finesse kind of guy. Oh, he's got, command, like he's got some funky ass breaking ball that gets him through and it just kind of baffles guys. But no, like this guy's going to blow you away.
No, you said it. You were not being literal, but push through it. That's the leg he's pushing off with. So to be able to still throw gas like that, high 90s, FU kind of stuff. Cool guy, man. A fun guy to root for.
Yeah. And the only other thing that I don't know, that just good job by Trevor Story, I guess, putting a double in the gap. I don't know. He's someone that I'm going to be watching this spring just to see his timing. Like a guy. Yeah, Narvaez looked good. But with Story, it's like the last couple of years, it's like, oh, he didn't have a spring training, so he was never able to get off to a good start, and it just kind of throws his whole season for a loop. But now, hopefully, gets through the spring healthy, gets to the season, and you hopefully can see what he's got, when he's not, always playing catch up the entire way. And I hope that that's the way it plays out, as we've seen with guys. We've seen this depth get tested already. I mean, it's February 23rd as we're recording this. Cutter Crawford likely to miss opening day. Bayo, he's behind schedule, maybe a week behind. Hopefully gets
into
games.
He should be fine. Yeah, he didn't sound too severe. But hey, this is what we've been talking about, man. It's so much less stressful when you got Quinn Priester and Richard Fitz just waiting there to pitch in. And you don't want them giving you 30 starts a year, but just to have that luxury is something that we are so not used to as Red Sox fans. And we don't have to freak out about one starter, two starters having setbacks. So just enjoy this. Enjoy having depth. Don't enjoy the injuries, but do enjoy having a backup plan for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just last year or the year before, Like I feel like when we talk about the Red Sox, we think in like pockets. So 22, 23, and 24 kind of all get looped together. And I think one of the main topics of those years, the main stories of those years, is the lack of pitching depth that the Sox had every single one of those years. But it's been longer than that, to be honest with you, man. Like, the Sox have not had 6 legitimate MLB starters where it's like, oh my God, this guy's not going to get a spot in the rotation. Like, they haven't had that as a quote unquote problem in years. And now we're in a situation where there's a chance that 2 of these guys aren't ready for opening day. And maybe like the solution here is going to end up being picking one of those Priester, Fitz, Criswell guys to step in and make a start. And hopefully if Bayo misses opening day, it's just one turn through the rotation and he's right on schedule, doesn't have any more setbacks in that shoulder. But like, the fact that 2 guys can be down, one of them potentially for more extended time, like, they've been pretty coy on Cutter. Like, the Cutter thing feels legit. Like, it doesn't feel like this is going to be a thing that costs him a week. Like, it feels like this might be 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks of the regular season, depending on how long it takes him to get back on track. But guess what? If Bayo's okay, then you're only going to need 1 start from one of your depth guys. That's a pretty good place to be.
Spin zone, no better time to get hurt and miss time than early in the season. So if they put Cutter on the IL, that might be the move, just to make sure that he's good to go when you really, really need him. It's just great. It's great that they have options. We don't ever want to see guys get hurt, of course, but it is a luxury. And even like 2018, when the Red Sox murdered every other team all year long and just cakewalked through the World Series to a championship, they didn't even have that great of depth that season. It was Brian Johnson and pretty much just him. So
don't forget about Hector Velasquez.
Yeah,
that was the depth. Those 2 guys, like, they weren't good. They were not good.
Hector was more of a bullpen guy. Yeah, he got a few starts. But yeah, their depth starter was Brian Johnson, who, hey, he did his job. But yeah, it wasn't like they had a rising star like Quinn Priester or a guy who we all think is going to be an MLB quality starter like Fitz, waiting there to be called upon. So even Dobbins, I should mention Dobbins too. He throws hard. I like that guy. Funny on Twitter, so follow him.
Who would you, if you had to pick one guy, hopefully they're only going to need one guy. We still haven't seen Giolito yet, but that's not because he's had a setback or anything. They're just taking him along a little bit slower than the other guys, and I think we're supposed to see Buehler this week. But if you had to pick one of those 3 guys, because Dobbins, I agree, he will play a role on this team, but he's not going to be in the mix for opening day or like that, like opening day roster, like the 5th spot or whatever. The 3 guys, Priester, Fitz, and Criswell. If you had to pick one of those guys to make, let's say, 2 starts to open the year, if it came to that, which one would you want? Which one would you want to see?
To open the year, I'd probably say Criswell because he's done it before. If we're talking about middle of the season, I'd probably go Priester because I think he has the most upside of all those guys. I don't even think that's a hot take. I think he has the most upside. But if it's early on and I want to keep guys in their routine, get them in a groove, I'd probably just go with the guy who's done it before. Not to say I think Criswell's a better pitcher than either of those 2. He's just the more, the safer pick for early on in the season.
It's an interesting way to look at it because, like, I was in my head, I'm thinking between the other 2. And to be honest, there's really no wrong answer because all 3 of these guys have shown that they're capable of doing it. To me, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a sucker for what Priester could be. But in my opinion, if there's a spot and you get to see it for 1 or 2 starts, like, I just want to see that guy do it.
Yeah.
I just want to see it. Because I think he has a shot to be one of those guys. Like, you see it with the Dodgers. Those guys, none of them have rotation spots, but then guys go down and you've got, major league ready pitching prospects ready to go in AAA. And, I think about Bobby Miller a couple years ago. I know he kind of fumbled his spot last year, but that's a guy who comes up, takes advantage of his opportunity, and then becomes a mainstay for the rest of that year. Like, I don't know if there's going to be an opportunity with the Red Sox to do that. Hopefully there's not, because if there is, then that means that guys are struggling or hurt. But like, if there is a chance for someone to do that, to take it and run, I feel like Priester has the best chance to do it. But I do agree with you that Criswell is the safest pick. It's interesting. Fitz is like kind of the middle ground between the two, because Fitz definitely has more upside than Criswell, but he's also far safer than Priester.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if it were in the middle of the season and Priester had just put together 3 or 4 good starts and he was cooking and he was feeling confident, then I'd say Priester. Same thing about Fitz, but I think getting in that routine for young guys to start a season and just get in a groove and not have all that like up and down to start, if you can avoid it, I don't think that's a bad thing at all. But I agree with everything you said, Gordo. Priester's really exciting. He and nothing against Fitz. He is too, but Priester not too long ago was a very, very highly ranked prospect. When they traded Nick York for him, I was kind of surprised that Pittsburgh, would give that kind of return. But then you look at the Pirates pitching repertoire and it kind of makes more sense. Still, Priester, very exciting. I think definitely someone that if he looks good in the minors and next year there's an opening, I would consider him.
Yeah, definitely. And they right now for 26, who's under contract right now? You got Crochet, Houck, Bayo, Cutter, Sandoval. So you got those 5 guys, and then the three guys we just mentioned, the depth guys, Priester, Fitz, and Criswell. Those guys are depth guys this year. But again, like you're right, Sammy. If Priester has a good year in the minors this year, and he's going to have time in the bigs too, and he shows out there too, he's not going to be seen as a depth guy. And then you could start talking about potential trade candidates if the Red Sox want to bring back one or both of Buehler, Giolito, guys like that expiring, or if they want it, like the free agent pitching market for next year is crazy deep. Like you got guys like, just off the top of my head, Framber Valdez, Zach Gallen, there's others. Dylan Cease, Michael King,
Ranger Suarez. Yeah, King, nasty.
Like
there's another big one we're forgetting. I know there's a big one we're forgetting, but that is stacked free agent class. We talked about this.
Bieber and Woodruff.
Yeah, there it is. Bieber. I'm 30 years old. I have never, ever had a conversation about the Red Sox like this, about which starting pitcher are they going to use? Is the depth going to be in the rotation next year? Is it this depth guy or that depth guy? I genuinely don't think I've ever been able to have this conversation about the Red Sox, and it feels great.
Yeah, it's it's certainly different, and this is
like
exactly it really has never been a thing. We've never had this kind of pitching depth. The Red Sox are always the offense team, and this year it weirdly feels, and I'm gonna knock on wood when I say this, but it feels like it could be like a pitching and defense kind of team. And
really? You think so? I think their offense is going to be nasty. I love this offense. With Bregman, he changes everything. I think this is like a
good
top 10 offense in baseball. I would go as far as to say.
I think they'll be a borderline top 10 offense, which is good, but for the Red Sox and what we've seen, like the good Red Sox teams we've seen are all like top 5 offenses. Like this team is a much more well-rounded team. It's not
when you say like pitching and defense in Red Sox context.
It is in Red Sox context. Yeah.
We're only the 10th best offense or something like that. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I up and down the lineup. This lineup is deep now. God, I'm so happy they signed Bregman. So much more fun to hypothesize about how this is going to go when you got that dude in the lineup. And of course, he hits a home run today on a Sunday as we're recording.
Should have been 2. Should have been 2. It's like
he's saving them.
The dude, any pitch in or up and in, it's just you expect him to just turn on it. It's a great feeling to watch because you're not expecting. Like I you know me, I was a huge Tyler O'Neill honk. Like I loved Tyler O'Neill. I wanted Tyler O'Neill back, but the difference between Bregman and Tyler O'Neill is with Tyler O'Neill, when he steps up to the plate, the ball could be out of here at any second. With Bregman, it's not quite to that level or really even close to that level, but the difference is with Tyler O'Neill, if it wasn't out, he was walking back to the dugout. Whereas Bregman, like he's going to put the bat on the ball, and it's just a matter of, okay, is he going to smoke it off the wall? Is he going to smoke it over the wall? Or, is he going to hit it at someone and then you just, tip your cap? But he puts together a good professional at bat. I hope that they end up putting him in between Devers and Casas, and he doesn't. I would rather him there than in between Duran and Devers, personally.
So you'd rather him? Wait, where would you rather him?
I want him hitting third, so I want it to go Duran, Devers, Bregman, Casas.
Yeah, me too. I think that's
I
smart.
don't.
He was second today, correct? They had him in the 2-hole. I don't think any of
Yeah,
that really means much at all for the
not
regular
in spring
season.
training now. Yeah,
I
no.
think I think that spot between Devers and Casas is like a golden ticket for a hitter because you're going to either see a ton of fastballs or you're going to be hitting with guys on base a lot. So I think Bregman, he's not. I don't want to say bounce back year because he was a 4 WAR guy last year, but I think
Mhm.
his numbers will improve.
That's the floor because yeah, I don't think his offense when you look at the end of 2025, it's not going to look worse than it looked last year because last year's numbers looked the way they looked with him having basically 6 brutal weeks to open the season. I think the one thing that he's going to need to really take advantage of, and this is what Tyler O'Neill did so well, like he's going to be hitting right in the middle of that pocket, like Duran, lefty, Devers, lefty, Bregman, righty, Casas, lefty. So who are teams going to throw at those guys? It's going to be a lefty every time. And Bregman, if you look at his splits, did not hit lefties that well last year. But if you look a little bit deeper, after that basically like 6 weeks of shit to start the season,
He crushed.
he hit him well.
Yeah.
He hit him well,
and he has 862 career OPS against lefties.
Yeah.
That was so overstated. He's not actually that good against lefties. Okay, yeah. Sure. And how much scarier is Rob Refsnyder now that he's not the only guy that you have that can hit left-handed pitching? Like before they signed Bregman, it was like it's just Refsnyder here, and now it's like okay, you can have Bregman and Refsnyder back to back if the other team brings in a lefty. It's just so
that's what I do.
So many more options. It's great. Yeah, late game Refsnyder,
or even to start a game, like you could go Duran, Refsnyder, Bregman, Devers, or Duran, Bregman, Refsnyder, Devers, and now you've got 2 righties protecting Duran, and hopefully guys getting on base because Devers obviously hits righties way better, but he's still your most dangerous hitter no matter who's on the mound. He just is.
Oh yeah. Casas can hit lefties too. Casas hasn't had a ton of opportunities versus lefties, but that was never a major issue for him coming up through the minors. And
yeah, he can.
And even you can go further. Refsnyder, if he starts, you bring in a righty to face him. Cool. Here's Wilyer Abreu. Great. Here's Masataka Yoshida. Just I cannot get over what Bregman does for this team. This was the most obvious fit we've ever seen, and I'm so glad the Red Sox finally were like, all right, we don't have to be the smartest guy in the room anymore. Let's do the obvious thing. It makes our conversations so much more exciting to just like all the possibilities, how good this team could be. And it's not going to be the best Red Sox team we've ever seen, but damn, these guys are going to be good.
The comparison here that I think about and I laugh every time I think about the depth that this team has, both in the rotate in all 3 areas of the game, with the rotation, the bullpen, and the lineup. It's like in recent years, if we talk about one guy going down, like you have to talk about the Red Sox and hope that everything goes right because one guy goes down and it torpedoes everything. Like last year, we had 2 of those one guys go down and it did torpedo things. Like the defense was never the same when Story went down. In fact, it was bad in the infield because Story went down. Casas went down and obviously the offense was very up and down, much less consistent. Honestly, their highs were way higher than I thought they would have been. It was a testament to them and props to them for holding it down the way they did. But this year, it's like Wilyer is down with the flu, or not the flu. He has a GI infection. It's like a viral thing, not cleared for baseball activities. And it's like he's down, but like even if he's down, it's not gonna kill you. Like they've got so much depth that you're still gonna put a good major league lineup out there, even if 1 or 2 guys are dinged up. And it's just going to get even deeper later in the year when all 3 of the big 3 become part of the equation. Like right now, we don't know how many of them are.
But I was about to say your depth right now for a guy like Wilyer is the #1 prospect in the world, Roman Anthony. That's depth right there. That's great. Juicy. Love that.
Yeah. And like the bullpen depth is the best out of all of it, to be honest with you. Like I put the bullpen list of all the candidates out there, and I forgot like Michael Fulmer on there, so you can add another one. But it's like Zach Penrod went down and like got some good news on him. He's not going to be getting Tommy John, but he'll still be out a while. And it's like he goes down, and it's like, okay, instead of 10 guys competing for 2 spots, it's 9 guys competing for 2 spots. It's like, damn, the Woo Sox are going to have the best fucking bullpen in AAA history. And it's just good because last year we had so many guys get worn down because they were overused because they just didn't have it. Like Zach Kelly and Brendan Bernardino were guys that were used constantly and they were so good, but then they just got worn down. And by August, it was like, all right, like they just don't have it anymore. But hopefully this year, you'll be able to use guys, when their usage gets up, you option them or you put them on the fake IL or whatever and call up the next guy. There's going to be a lot of guys that can come up and contribute that they just haven't had in the past. So yeah, the ceiling, they don't have as much. I mean, they do have stars, but we've seen far more star-studded Red Sox teams than this one. But this Red Sox team is never going to have like minor league caliber starters, schmucks coming out of the bullpen. One of those lineups, like we saw a lineup on like a day game. I think it was like against the Pirates last year. And I could not believe that was a big league lineup.
We just
like,
talked
we're
about
not
this
having
one.
that.
We talked about this, I think it was last episode, with Tyler Heineman DHing and batting fifth. Nothing against Tyler Heineman. That's a defensive specialist catcher.
It's against
DHing.
Tyler Heineman. It is against Tyler Heineman.
He's a nice guy, I'm sure.
No, I'm sure.
We never meet the catchers. The catchers are like the one position. Actually, you met Danny Jansen, so never mind. But
that's true. I did meet Danny. But you're right. Like they're always busy. Always busy.
Yeah, man. But I agree. Not the most star-studded team, but there won't be schmucks. And like you said, if someone goes down, they got depth. That's why I'm not afraid of the Yankees. If the Yankees lose Aaron Judge, they're absolutely screwed. And he gets hurt a lot. They're already lost Stanton with his not to laugh at the guy's injury. No, two injured elbows. What the fuck, man? Like, what happened?
What was he doing to injure both
down
elbows?
A staircase? Like, come on.
He's like a grand piano falls down.
He got crushed by a piano.
So two grand pianos, one for each arm.
He blocked one, and then another one came, and he just fucked up both of them. Yeah, but anyway, not talking about the Yankees. Just saying, like the Red Sox are not injury proof, but they have great depth in the form of veteran relievers they can call upon, like Fulmer you just mentioned, young starting pitchers with upside. Grand piano.
I'm just thinking of Stanton with like piano keys for teeth.
And he sees the grand piano coming down the stairs, and you hear like,
he's like looking up at the sky with like the shadow getting a little bit bigger around him as it comes down.
He's laying on the ground in pain. He's like, they're gonna be so mad at me when they hear about the grand piano.
Remember when didn't like Yoenis Cespedes hurt himself like riding?
He fell in a ditch.
What was he riding? He was riding something.
I thought he fell in a ditch.
Yeah, I think he did, but he was riding something. It's like a
horse. Oh,
Jesus, Sammy, come on now.
No. I'm not insinuating anything. Hold on. Yoenis Cespedes.
Tatis got hurt riding like an ATV. That one really fucked him up.
Oh my God. Yoenis Cespedes suffered ankle. I can't believe this is real. This is Sports Illustrated. Ankle fractures after incident with wild boar.
What the hell, man?
He should have been a Red Sox for life, man.
The boar.
He's hog hunting.
Dude is hunting hogs, boars. And the Red Sox traded him for a Cy Young winner. He's hunting boars.
Oh my God. 30 to 50 wild boars is what I would. Feral hogs. Anyway,
we gotta get to this. We gotta get to.
Yeah, what were you talking about? Pianos and boars.
We were talking about Stanton's elbows, but let's hit us with. We are running time. Joe, hit us with we got a DM for the listener DM of the week. What do you got for us?
We do have a DM. Let me pull it up here from Archer. So Archer has two questions. I'll give you the first one here. First question is, what would Rafael Devers have to do in his Red Sox career to become the best Red Sox player of all time?
Well, the easy answer, who is the best, Sammy, in your opinion, who's the best Red Sox of all time? I feel like you could pick one of two guys, in my opinion.
Okay, statistically, you'd be like Ted Williams, but big moment wise, Big Papi.
Those were the two guys I was going to say.
And if you want to talk pitchers, then Pedro would probably be the biggest pitcher.
So he's got Ortiz won 3 championships, but he was like far more instrumental in those championships than you could ever reasonably expect anyone else to be.
Yeah, but he
Devers-
didn't really provide much value on defense, so his WAR is not actually that high.
How many home runs did Ted Williams have? This is
541.
521. You're close.
Dang it.
Very close. Okay, so let's start there. He's going to need to have. He would need to have 5. He might need 600 home runs in 4 World Series to get that.
Yeah, and maybe like cure cancer along the way.
Yeah. How many homers does he have right now? Did he hit like his 200th last year, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, okay. I'm going to put the kibosh on this. Love Rafi. No, never. Will never happen.
He has
doesn't do
200
enough.
on the dot. He's going to need, he's 20, he's entering his age 28 season. He's going to need 400 more homers and 3 more World Series before he's done.
Well,
Yeah,
Sammy's answer is basically nothing. There's nothing.
He'd
to
have
do.
to like cure cancer. He'd have to time travel and go serve 3 years in World War II, just like Ted Williams. And then he'd have to somehow be the best player on the team without playing any defense like Big Papi. So we love Rafi. We're
Not
a little
easy.
annoyed at him. We're a little annoyed at him right now, but
I'm
still
not
love
annoyed
Rafi.
at him. You could be annoyed at him. I am not.
I'm not
Viva
okay. I'm
Rafi.
not annoyed. I'm a little
Viva.
like Rafi. Please, Rafi. Level with me here, Raf.
You can be,
we
you
love
can be
you,
annoyed
but-
at him if on March 23rd he's giving them shit.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Well, then to follow up on that question, Archer asked the same question, but for a different player. What would Romy Gonzalez have to do to be the best of all time?
That's a good question.
Mm.
Well, he'd have to keep the mustache. I think very important. He's probably right now, and this is huge, he's the backup first baseman. And if you don't have that, then don't even show up. So if Romy keeps the mustache and plays a good backup first baseman, I think he's in the conversation for greatest Red Sox of all time. Him and Ted Williams.
What about John Olerud?
I know he wore a helmet on the field. That scared me. It's too scary for me.
Romy Gonzalez.
John Olerud. That's...
I don't know. I was like, think of a backup first baseman. Okay, John
Olerud never broke both elbows.
No, but why did he wear the helmet again?
Concussion stuff.
So he did get hit in the head with stuff. So maybe he got hit with a grand piano.
Wait, I want to double check. I want to make sure I'm right about that. I don't want to put misinformation out in the
on
world.
John Olerud's name. All right, while you look that up, here's what Romy Gonzalez. Here's all the things that would need to go right for Romy to be the greatest Red Sox of all time. Tristan Costas would have to like have his leg amputated or his foot amputated like LeVar Ball. And so Romy Gonzalez then gets the first base job and he has to like Lou Gehrig it with, what was the guy's name? Wally Pipp? Do I have that right? Wally Pipp?
I'll go with it.
I think it's the guy he took it from. So yeah.
Yeah,
And then,
that was
600 homers.
The only way you know that name is because Belichick referenced that between Wes Welker and Julian Edelman.
Right.
Well, there you
right.
go. Yeah. Bill has referenced that name.
So I was close with Olerud. So he had a where'd it go? He had a brain hemorrhage and an aneurysm during a workout, and he was afraid to get hit in the head because it could set him off. So
Give him like a
similar to
seizure?
being, something could happen. Similar to like if someone has concussion problems, they don't want to take a hit to the head. So just keep him safe, but very, very, very confusing as a young fan. I had no clue about his brain aneurysm. So I was like, why is there a helmet on the field? There's no answers. It was also a warm-up helmet with no flaps.
Yeah.
So he just intimidated me too much.
The funny thing with him is that he would like wear it in his headshots too. So like I'd be playing like the MVP 05 video game and you scroll down to John Olerud and he's got a helmet and it's like, what the hell? Like you're just a kid and you're like, what the fuck is this guy doing? He's
He
wearing a
was sick,
helmet.
though. He had a great career.
He was really good.
Mariners a lot too.
Yeah,
Blue
hitting for
Jays,
the Mariners. Come on. No
Toronto.
one does that.
But yeah, anyway, so who has a better chance to be the best Red Sox of all time? Devers or Romy?
Well, Romy's faster.
Yeah, fair.
And he's
right
a better defender and he's more versatile.
right-handed. Yeah, right-handed.
So he has a better mustache.
Oh man, imagine Devers.
He
with
has a mustache. I don't know if Rafi can grow any facial hair right now.
Rafi sometimes grows like that little like pencil thin thing right above his lip.
Like he's like a French performer.
What? What?
You're
fuck
saying
does
he
that
like greases the tips or whatever, like a Raleigh fingers, but smaller?
Oh, imagine
and
Devers
he's like,
with the Raleigh fingers.
and he does this.
And he has circus music on in the background.
Everyone we talk about, I just keep imagining with piano keys for teeth.
I could have had one. There's a fake tooth. I could get a piano key in here instead.
You got a fake tooth?
Yeah.
You got to get one of the. Well, no. Here's what you need to do: like the two front teeth, like the two teeth at the front of your mouth that are the biggest. Those are the white keys, and then the two teeth on either side, those are the littler black keys.
I gotta get more teeth taken out then. I don't know. There it is. Yeah, piano mouth. Yeah. I can only do one piano key. You have to pick one piano key for my one fake tooth.
Oh my god. All right, that was a good DM. Some good discussion out of that DM. Shall we move to some enough said before we get on out of here? Sammy, you got anything?
Yeah, so friend's bachelor weekend up in Maine / New Hampshire for me, and everyone was fired up to watch a soccer game between two of the big European teams. And I have been very open-minded trying to get into soccer or football, if you will. I just can't do it, man. I watched the whole game. It was 2-0. Liverpool beat Man City 2-0. I just can't do it, man. I don't get it. I don't get the appeal. I get it's accessible. There's a lot of teams, a lot of fun players. I just can't get into the games. It's people are like, oh, baseball is slow. Soccer. Maybe are they moving faster on the field, but action-wise, oh my god,
they're very
3
similar
minutes of fun things.
They're very similar in terms of like to appreciate the sport. You have to understand the little nuances that are happening outside of like pitcher throws ball, batter hits ball is in play, and you see what happens. Like to really appreciate baseball, you have to understand the dynamics of the batter versus pitcher battle, how every little movement, every pitch decision, every swing decision changes what the outcome of the at-bat can be. And I'm sure there's stuff like that in soccer too. But yeah, I know I've never been able to get into it either. And it's just so much like, I need to have a team from my hometown that brings me in at some point. And I want to be watching the best players in the world. And the issue is soccer in the U.S. is not the best players in the world.
No.
And then internationally, it's like, I don't know who any of these guys are. So how can I get into it?
There's one guy on Man City from Uzbekistan, which I thought was pretty cool. You don't really hear about those guys much in the soccer world. And maybe you do. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But, it's frustrating because I really want to like it. Because it's the most popular sport in the world. That and martial arts are like the two biggest things in the world. I like martial arts. I just don't like soccer. Maybe that's why, Gordo. Maybe it's because I don't have a horse in the race for like the top tier of it. Like I did watch the Revs play LA in the final that one year.
Yeah, well, Sammy, all you got to do if the day comes where you actually enjoy soccer, you just have to scream out to a group, Messi, and you're already in.
Messi, yeah. I did enter a raffle.
Does he still play in the U.S.?
Yeah, he's still there.
Okay.
He's running circles around everybody.
I entered a raffle to win a Arsenal jersey, and I think they're pretty solid. So if I get that jersey, maybe I'll become an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, you just got to have something that like lures you in to give you a reason to be a fan of a team that has a chance to win the best league. Like, yeah, to me, like, and
what's the best league though?
That's the issue. Like, who the
I don't know.
Knows?
There's too many leagues. And there's no playoffs, apparently, I was told. But like, so I don't know how it worked. Like, how do you win?
It's like different tournaments and stuff. Like,
there's probably someone listening right now, like screaming.
I know,
like just furious ass. Like, please, if you have any tips on how to enjoy soccer or football, more, DM me and I'll give it an honest chance.
Yeah, and this honestly gives me a pretty good segue into mine. And I'll pose the question to both of you guys. To you. Because to me, the worst sports month of the year is February. February absolutely sucks. It blows. I understand that spring training starts in February. Like we're now watching, like it is February, and we just watched Alex Bregman go 3 for 3 with a bomb, and we watched Crochet record 5 outs, 4 of them via K. Like we're seeing Red Sox baseball, but there's no NFL football. there's no meaningful baseball, and the only baseball you do see is like half games at most from your guys. The NBA has the All-Star break, so you miss a bunch of that. I'm not a huge hockey guy, but they have an All-Star break too. It's like, what to me, February is by far not just the worst. It's the worst month of the year, and thank God it's the shortest. But like the days have been short, they've been freezing. It's been brutal. Like there's been nothing on TV to watch. Like I'm just happy. I'm giving you guys and myself props for making it through the worst month of the year. Do you guys agree with me that February is the worst sports month of the year, or is there one that's worse? And maybe you guys are the wrong guys to ask since you're both baseball guys. Like if you ask non-baseball fans, I bet there's some people that think that like July could be the worst.
That was gonna be what I'd say. I would make the argument for July is because you have a longer week of absolutely nothing. I probably would make the argument for July because you have that week of MLB's on their All-Star game. The NBA free agency like dries up. Obviously, no hockey free agency. And then footballs are like just getting their training camps underway. So I would probably, if it was like a 1A and 1B, I could see it, but I would lean towards July is the worst.
It really is just a matter of if you're a baseball fan, I feel like. Because if you don't like baseball, the summer has to just absolutely suck.
Yeah, I mean, not the summer as a sports fan. There's still
Yeah, as
other
a sports fan. Oh,
things to
God,
do.
yeah. No, I'm not saying summer in general. God, no. It's
I would say, yeah, I probably agree with you, Gordo. I can't, July I like because I'm a like psychotic Red Sox fan, baseball fan as well. So, I would say, I mean, look, what's going on? You get one football game. It's the Super Bowl, of course. And if your team's not in it, you're kind of like, I mean, it's fun to get around, get together. Big Premier League stuff going on, as I found out today, which not my thing. I thought the NHL did a great job with Four Nations. That helped a bit, but overall, yeah, it's not a great sport. And the NBA games mean absolutely nothing right now. They're just like the Celtics just roll the Knicks into a ball and throw them into the harbor today.
Well, the thing about baseball though for July is it's only the end of the month that gets like the most exciting because like I sort of look at it in a landscape of not just the diehards, but just for like everybody. Like I would say probably 8 out of 10 people are like casual fans and not diehards like us. So I think to them, the most intriguing time in July would be like the end of the month when it's the baseball trade deadline.
Well, that's interesting, Joe. That's a good point. When is NBA free agency? It's at the beginning of July, right? I feel
but that thing only like lasts maybe
it's quick. You're right.
week
It's quick.
or so.
But you've got that at the beginning, and then you've got baseball trade deadline stuff, which is basically, I mean, for us, like we'll be into it for way longer, but for the casual fan, it's probably only interesting for like a week at most at the end. So, but like if those weeks are bookending the month of July, then it's like, okay, maybe you don't have the best sports viewing experience in July, but like you do have good sports news. I don't know. Like the MLB All-Star break is not that long. It's only a couple days.
We just need baseball games. We need baseball to start. I like, I don't want to be like spring training sucks, but I want the real thing so bad.
Yeah, or like at the very least, like get us to the point where, because like when we get to go down there, which we're leaving on March 19th to go down, so we've got less than a month, and February's short, so it's even less than that. When we go down there, like that's it. Like that's the end of. Like it gets warmer, and the guys we get to meet the team and talk to this year's crop of players, and the pitchers are going like 5 innings in their spring starts, and the full lineups are playing because they want to get these guys playing back to backs, and like from the 19th on we're good. We just got to get there. That's the borderline. Get us to the 19th.
Yeah.
Get us
just
to the 19th.
To get there.
Joe, you got anything for us before we wrap this thing up?
I'll go really quick because I didn't plan for enough said, but I can just rattle one off here. The ABS system that they're trying out in spring games, I'm still very, very confused. I understand like the basic concept of like you tap your head and you're challenging the ball strike call, but everything outside of that, like how they look at things, like how long does it take, like I'm still very confused by it. And I bet if I watch enough games to get a grasp on it, then I'll be okay. But apparently, like JetBlue South doesn't have that system, so I'm gonna be living with this period of confusion until they actually like implement it, probably in the majors, which is what everyone says is gonna happen.
You'll see it like when the Red Sox go on the road, and I don't know what Florida parks have it, but they'll go somewhere that has it, and we'll see it. But there, yeah, it's not going to be a thing this year. I don't know. What do we think? Like next year, or do we think it's just going to wait till? I feel like they have it in spring training with the hope of implementing it a year from now. I feel like that's usually what they do.
Probably. And
yeah, that's what they were doing with like the pitch clock and all that.
Yeah.
About to sound old, but I hope they don't do too much robot umpiring, because I love the manager yelling at the ump and getting tossed from a game and those arguments. That's one of the most exciting things. So I like the robot umps, just not too much. Not too much robot umps. Keep that. Also, it completely torches the value of a catcher if you have too much robot umps.
Yeah. No, I say this right now. I would rather just stay with traditional umpires and just like leave all that stuff out. And I understand that it's bad, but then you see some of the dog shit calls over the course of a season. It's like, all right, there was one 2 years ago. I'm gonna have to find this. Well, obviously there's the Laz Diaz one, but there was one that it's crazy. I'll be able to find it because I know it was in a road series in 2023 against the Nationals. Justin Turner had the most unbelievable strike 3 call. Do you know? You know what I'm talking about, Sammy?
Yeah, I know, and he was so polite about it too. He was like, "What? Are you serious?" And I think he laughed too. I know exactly what you're talking about. That kind of like totally unlocked the memory just now. Yeah, that was. He handled it like a champ.
Yeah, of course, Justin Turner, like literally the most professional baseball player to walk the freaking infield dirt. Like he was great. Good luck on the Cubs. All right, that'll do it for what is this, episode 181 of Play Tessie. Appreciate you all tuning in to this one. We will be back in your ears. On Wednesday? Wednesday. We'll be back on Wednesday.
Special guest, maybe.
That might be for Friday.
Okay, we got a special guest coming up.
Yeah, we're working on getting a good guest. It'll be an interesting conversation.
It's not Giancarlo Stanton.
No, he can't speak anymore. But
we're working on something fun, something unique.
Yes, no pianos involved to our knowledge. But yeah, you'll have to wait and see. But appreciate you guys tuning into this one. Remember, subscribe, get those notifications when podcasts drop. Spotify, Apple, Odyssey app. Subscribe everywhere, rate 5 stars, and leave a comment. Find us on YouTube. We're on the WEI channel. You can find the Play Tessie playlist there. It has all of our videos. Hit the thumbs up on all of those and subscribe to WEI. And you can find us on the socials at Play Tessie on both Twitter and Instagram. So for Sammy, for Joe producing, and Gordo here, this has been Play Tessie, episode 181. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Peace.